Liz Truss resigns as Prime Minister, but UK will have further troubles. Liz Truss served as the United Kingdom's Prime Minister for only 5 days, but her departing from number 10 Downing Street places her country in a much weaker position on the world stage. Nonetheless, her resignation will not face what ails the UK and Europe as a whole, since the geopolitical challenges are growing much more destabilizing, and the international economy not to be headed for a downturn, more likely a recession. The change of leadership in the UK sends a signal that more troublesome times are blowing and stability is crumbling at the core. Accordingly, the Conservative Party cannot reverse their dismal fortunes after selecting a new leader, with the likely candidates being former PM Boris Johnson, former Chancellor Rishi Sunak, and Defense Secretary Ben Wallace, etc. The new elections are scheduled for October 28 as announced by Gerard Brady, chair of the 1922 committee, a keymaker for Conservative Party's leader. Truss was appointed as Prime Minister on September 8, but she was not popularly supported by winning a general election vote. She simply won with a majority vote by the 172,000 members of Conservatives, who are mainly elderly and affluent citizens. She campaigned for the leadership role, pledging to cut taxes, reduce business regulations, and still continue on with high public spending measures. But her plans started to go over right after the former Chancellor of Exchequer Kwasi Kwarteng announced on September 23 a mini-budget with £45 billion in unfunded tax cuts. In the immediate aftermath, the financial markets tabled UK pensions stood on the brink of massive defaults, and the British pound plunged in value to the dollar. Truss went into damage control mode by taking a U-turn and eventually sinking Kwarteng and replacing him with Jeremy Hunt, who scrapped most of the reforms of the mini-budget. Yet Truss' political reversals resulted in her imminent demise. She had many rivals among her Conservative peers in Parliament, and they deemed her political flops as a sign of weakness, and they could ramp up the pressure to oust her from power. It's a common trait for leaders of the developed nations in the West to favor an anti-China and anti-Russia foreign policy agenda when they are confronting rising unpopularity at home. They seek to divert voters' attention away from their disastrous domestic policies by playing the blame game by villainizing Beijing and Moscow. Accordingly, Truss played a no-by, officially labeling China as a competitor and a threat to the UK. Her diplomatic move took a more extreme and aggressive stance, but it garnered her scant public support. Truss learned the hard way that going anti-China can no longer serve as a game changer to win more political support from the ordinary Brits. The Conservative Party's members of Parliament were more worried about the UK's cause of living crisis, double-digit inflation rates, looming recession, and the threats of widespread energy blackouts this coming winter. Truss did herself no favors as well by strongly backing the United States, NATO, and the EU with firm support for Ukraine. Has the UK was pledged more public funding and weapons for Kiev, when in fact her government should have been more focused on propping up the UK economy and improving the living status of the Brits. As the saying goes, be careful what you wish for. The opposition Labour Party leader Keir Starmer is calling for general election. This is doing huge damage to our economy and the reputation of our country. He said we must have a chance at a fresh start. We need a general election now, said Starmer after Truss announced her resignation. He described her tenure as utter chaos. Meanwhile, Boris Johnson is flying back to London after enjoying an extended family vacation in the Dominican Republic. He believes he can come to the rescue, but it appears he is engaged in fantasy, thinking the UK is in poor shape, not because of Truss, but on account of the changing geopolitical and global economics landscape. The forecast looks bleak not only for the UK but also for the developed nations of the West. The impending energy shortages, surging inflation rates, central banks raising benchmark rates, and unstable governments will continue to place the UK under more severe stress. Hence, the next UK Prime Minister will unlikely create miracles to reverse course and set the nation's sails in the right direction. The storms swirling on the horizon can no longer be contained without ushering drastic reforms, but the UK's politicians don't seem keen on bold reforms.